Releasing negative emotions and limiting beliefs can absolutely help you lose weight. But if you try to lose weight by releasing only and didn't see great results, I'm going to break down for you exactly why. Coming up. Hey, welcome to the Power of Quiet, showing you how to discover the real you that's beyond the limitations of the mind and body. And through the work that we do here, you can experience firsthand you're not the mind and you're not the body. And it's something that you'll never get intellectually, but it's provable when you experience it for yourself. And if you like a little glimpse of this, I'll drop a link to a video that'll take you through a deep meditation so you can start to open up and see for yourself who you are beyond the mind and body. But the way that most of us live, we're acting as though that the mind and the body have power over us. And it isn't true. I mean, after all, how do you know that the mind is real or the body is real? After all, the mind, what is it? It's just a sound in your head. This voice is talking to you. Who said that you had to let this voice boss you around? And who said that you had to let your body boss you around? How do you know that that's real? All you experience physically in your body is just electrical impulses. How do you know it's not just a dream that you're dreaming? That you're just picturing the body? Now let's just, for argument's sake, say that the body is just a picture that you're picturing. If that's true, and it's your picture, then you can very easily change it. And like I said, this is something that's provable. Using these tools that we practice here, you can start to experience it firsthand for yourself and see real results from it. Lots of people have demonstrated miracles with the body just by letting go of negative feelings and limiting thoughts. And through this process, I was able to drop 50 pounds in a month and a half. And I've seen others similarly have a massive weight loss just by releasing only. But at the same time, I've seen many people struggle with releasing and losing weight. Releasing, and not really getting anywhere. And I think I can explain why. It really comes down to something that Lester Levinson, the great master who gave us these tools here to release and shown us how simple and easy it is to let go of our negativity. One of the things that he said when he was talking about healing the body, he said that if you can heal yourself spiritually, you should do it because doing it spiritually is instantaneous. Now, if you can't do it spiritually, then you should do it mentally because doing it mentally is from very fast to instantaneous. And then barring that, go seek outside help. Go see a doctor and get results. If those don't work, do the next best thing. Go have someone help you. Now, what he's talking about is a multi-level approach of consciousness to get the results. At the top is a spiritual, where you, being only who you are, identifying only with your beingness, you know who you are, and you know you're not the mind or the body, and you could just instantly change it. Now, the second tier there is doing it mentally. And what he's talking about is like willpower, where you focus yourself. You have an objective, and you're determined to get there. And you might take action, like with losing weight. You might exercise, you might go on a diet. But if you're determined, you exercise your willpower, and you achieve your goal. And then barring that, go take a weight loss pill, go get surgery or something. right? And the way Lester put it is like, what's wrong with that? So what? So what if you have to go see a doctor, go get outside help? Do it. The most important thing is let go of beating yourself up for it. Keep releasing, keep working to move up the ladder of consciousness. Now, the problem I see a lot of us running into and trying to get results by releasing is we want to go straight to the top. But to demonstrate from the top, you gotta have no identification with your body and your mind and your ego. And we're trying to do that while still holding on to our ego habits. You see, it's kind of coming from I want to get something for nothing sort of attitude. Like, I don't want to give up my little ego habits. I don't want to give up eating ice cream, eating pizza, being lazy. I want to keep doing these things that I enjoy, as like an ego thing, but I still want to get the results. I wonder why it doesn't work that way. See, as long as we're protecting our ego, holding on to it, we're holding on to our mind and all the limitations that it has. See, all the while it's telling us, well, you can't do that by releasing only. That's impossible. That's magical thinking. You're just kidding yourself. See, you're holding on to those limitations when you're holding on to your ego and all your habits. And sometimes we just have to be honest with ourselves. We have to say, well, look, I don't know if that's real, but I'm determined to discover that, right? And if it's something that's way out there, that's impossible, like, dropping a whole bunch of weight by releasing only, or manifesting anything by releasing only, yeah, it could be impossible. But what's wrong with doing the next best thing? What's wrong with starting at a level that we can demonstrate, that we can prove? You see, one of the things that we can definitely prove, that we can start at right now, is using releasing to manage our feelings. That's something that every one of us can do, even those of us that are just beginning this. So what's wrong with doing the next best thing, using willpower and taking some action, going on a diet, or giving up something that, I gotta have, that pizza, that ice cream, and saying, okay, I'm not gonna have it. And when my ego comes up and says, I gotta have it, I'm gonna release that. I'm just gonna bring that up and let that go. Or if my ego's bossing me around, where I'm just running on automatic, without even thinking, just unconsciously, I'm going to the refrigerator and stuffing my face, I can release on that. I can release to work on my behavior. So I'm not on automatic. I'm more present. And in the moment, I can just consciously decide, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to eat healthy instead. See, what's wrong with that? And how difficult is that? And here's the thing. Let me ask you. If you're unwilling to do that, or if you can't release at that level, release on your feelings or your behaviors, how do you expect to release from the top? Isn't that kind of crazy to expect those results when you're not willing to just go in and do the work that it takes? See, that's the secret. That's what it's about. It's willing to do the work on yourself. Now, unfortunately, most of us are lazy, and we have to reckon with ourselves, be honest with ourselves, and just decide, I don't care what it takes. And I don't care how long the journey is. I'm determined to get there. And I'm going to release where I'm at and release until I get all the goodness that I can get from the method. That's the secret. That's how you eventually win. And even if that looks like it's going to be a longer journey, if you take that approach, the funny thing is, you're going to discover it's a shorter journey than your ego's telling you. Try it. You'll find out. But let's do a little bit of releasing. So if you have some resistance to taking action to lose weight, then we can drop that resistance right now. But first, I just want to point out that this multi-tier approach is exactly what we're going to be doing in the upcoming Body Mastery course. We're going to work at all these levels. We're going to work at the top. We're going to work through the mind and through willpower. And we're going to work on letting go of beating ourselves up if we have to do the next best thing. Let someone else help us. And working on all these levels, we're going to be removing all these blocks. So no matter where we are on our path, we're going to see results. So if you have some goals with your body, to have it healthier, to lose weight, to remove some limitations in the body, click below and check out the Body Mastery course. It's going to be starting soon. And we're going to show you how to achieve exactly what you want and be the master of your body. Now, let's start by just mastering ourselves. See if the idea of exercising or dieting to lose weight brings up some resistance. Like, oh, I don't want to do that. And if you've ever heard that phrase, whatever you resist persists, you can see why. Because if you're not willing to go there, it's like you're blocking it. You're trying to push it away. Oh, no, keep that away from me. But you're actually holding on to it. Whatever you resist, you're holding in mind. And see, that's the nature of the mind. It's a creative instrument. It's a creator of your body. But whatever you hold in mind is what you get. And so if you're like, I don't want to do that, guess what? You're always holding in mind that you don't want to do. And because you're holding it in mind, even though you're resisting it, it stays with you. Plus, notice, when you're resisting the idea of working out or dieting or anything else that you have some aversion to, notice how it feels to resist that thought of doing that thing. Notice, if you focus your attention to your stomach or chest, you might notice like this clenching feeling, like a knotting up. And what that is your body like clenching up, like suppressing. And it's suppressing your feelings. And when you're suppressing, again, nothing's going anywhere. You're actually holding on to those negative feelings. And you're holding on to that resistance. Now you can very easily let go of this resistance. And wouldn't it be nice to not have this clenching, resisting feeling? So again, think about something that you resist about doing with your body. Maybe giving up a favorite food, giving up sugar, giving up carbs, or exercising, getting out and moving your body. Now see if you have some resistance to that. Now measure this resistance on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 being the most resistant and 0 being the least resistant. And see where you're at. All right? Whatever that number is, It might be small, it might be a 2, it might be an 8, or it might be off the charts. It might be like an 18. But whatever that number is, wherever that resistance is, can you see that when the resistance comes up, you don't like the resistance? And we resist things all the time. You know what it feels like to resist things. And what is your attitude towards that resistance? When it comes up, can't you see you're saying no to it? Like, ugh, get out of here, resistance. I don't want you here. You're bothering me. Now, when you say no to the resistance, does that make it go away? No. It only makes it stronger, doesn't it? So if saying no doesn't work, then let's do something different. Right now, look at that resistance. Whatever number that it's at, whatever number that you saw, and just say yes to that resistance. That's it. Just look at it and say yes to it. It's not complicated. Just say yes to the resistance. And say yes to the resistance a little bit more. And say yes to the resistance a little bit more. And say yes to it a little bit more. And say yes to the resistance even more. And say yes to it even more. And even more. And say yes to the resistance even more. And even more. And say yes to it even more. And even more. Now measure yourself again. Just see if that number moved. See if it's lower now. Maybe it's just a point. Or maybe you dropped from a 10 to a 2. Notice the difference? Now measure yourself where you are now on a scale of 0 to 10 with that resistance. Where are you now? And what is the resistance right now in this moment? It's just a feeling, isn't it? It's like an energy. Can you prove that it's real? Just a number in your head. Just a feeling, like an experience. Now look at that resistance, however you're experiencing it. Look right at it and say, I love you, resistance. Most of the time we're doing the opposite. We're fighting with it. Right? Put down your dukes. And just look at it and say, I love you. I love you, resistance. I really love you. I love you, resistance. I love you. I just love you. I love you. I really, really love you. I love you. I love you unconditionally. I love you if you stay. I love you if you leave. I love you either way. And how's that feel? Probably just instantly feel lighter, don't you? And measure yourself again. Prove it to yourself. See if that number dropped. Notice the difference? And right there, see, you prove it to yourself that you can just drop the resistance. You don't have to struggle with it anymore. You don't have to cope with it, deal with it. You can just let it go. And just like this is experiential, all these other wild things that Lester and all the other masters talk about can also be experienced if you do it. Now, let's do one last thing before we conclude here. See if there's any remaining resistance. Maybe just a wee bit. Or maybe you still feel like a lot still bottled up, but you already got some of that energy moving. You've opened up. It's moving through. So let go pushing down on the rest of that resistance. Now that you already have some momentum going, just let the rest come up and let it leave. That's it. Just let go of pushing on it. Allow it to arise and let it pass through. And let it pass through some more. And some more. And some more. And even more. And even more. And just welcome it up. It's just a feeling. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just energy passing through. Get out of the way and let it pass through even more. And how do you feel now? Better? Now, wherever you are in your process, and no matter what your goal is, you see, you can always take the first step now and start moving towards your goal. And notice, this is a big difference right here, this step. And that's the greatest lesson that we can learn from Lester, is to keep it simple. A lot of times we get too smart for our own good, and our mind gets in the way, even in the releasing process. But if you keep it simple, you'll discover that it's simple and it's easy. And if you want to keep it simple and easy, then join us in the Body Mastery course. I'll make sure that you keep it simple and that you get results. So prove it to yourself. Prove to yourself who you are, that you are a master, just as capable as those masters that you've heard. You're no different. And you could be that right now as you choose. All right? So happy releasing, and I'll see you on the next video.